Alright, y'all, and welcome to another edition of Dadgum Art. I made my own black canvas here. You can see it was white. I took acrylic gesso. Now, the biggest thing is you can paint oil on acrylic, but not acrylic on oil. And acrylic just means water-based. Like you clean acrylic paint with water, you clean oil-based paint with paint thinner or turpentine. But so I painted this on last night and it dries super fast. So I painted this on last night, and what I'm gonna try a couple little techniques today and see what we can achieve. And it might turn into something. But my cousin, she made a comment last night about how that little mountain way off in the back was so lonely, and I am going to remedy that as soon as I find my brown. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on that little mountain now and make him the belle of the ball, because he just happened to be in the background. It wasn't that he was it wasn't that he wasn't important. He just wasn't in the foreground. It's kind of like the little kid at the recital that somehow or another finds himself in the back. Like, they didn't do nothing wrong, there just wasn't nowhere else to stand. You put your show beats up front. So here I have black canvas with cat hair in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use transparent colors. And the way you tell if a color is transparent is I put a little blue on my finger and I rub it into that black, and it's still black. Like it's still black. So, but like if you were to take red and do that, well, then you're going to have a big red spot. So I have this Viridian green, and I have it on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and just paint this, because it's still going to look black. I'm going to paint a good part of this with this color. And then again, this is not considered the wet on wet technique like I showed you yesterday, and you can see how much harder that it is to get that paint on there. It does not glide on there like it did yesterday, because this surface is dry. It's not wet. So, and I'm also doing this landscape style, not portrait style, landscape style, so I can make it a broader, like widescreen TV. So same brush, coming in here, doing this with this green. And green is not usually associated with the sky, but I'm going to show you why, and then you might cry. I'm in a rhyming mood today. Woke up feeling good. Went to a rodeo last night, got to see some old friends, remembered why I don't ride bulls no more. I look at it now and I think, my God, them guys are crazy. But I get it though. I understand, like, passion. So here, this color here is phthalo blue. Phthalo is short for some big gigantic word that I can't pronounce, but like I said, this is not turn out how you want it. You only really get one crack. See the green and the blue. Like, I did not clean this brush out. I'm going to clean it out, but I have another 1-inch brush that I'm going to use to achieve this effect. And honestly, this is something that you can do with just the basic paint set. I mean, basic brushes, basic paint sets. I'll show you the brushes. A 1-inch brush here. It's nice and full. Just don't go buying like a little crap one. Make sure it can hold up in paint thinner. And because if you don't, what happens, the reason you have oil-based brushes is because of the glue that holds the bristles together has to be strong enough to survive the strong solvent. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what I want to happen here. What is it that we want to go to? Do we want to go out here? Let's go like this, and I'll show you the reason for it. And don't be stingy with your titanium white. That's what color this is that I'm about to stab in as soon as I can find my palette knife. Like I said, so titanium white, I've stabbed it in, got it in there good. Now I need to think, don't swap it, because if you do that, then you're going to really pick up a lot of colors that you don't want. So just come in here and do this number here. See, I got the color. You still have the other side that's kind of good. Come in here, try to turn it back to where you have a little play in it, and bring him on off unto the end, because what happens out there is no man's land, and we ain't worried about that. So we're gonna bring this guy here in like this. Now when we've done that, what you're going to do is take a 1-inch brush. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this one because I don't like having dirty brushes sitting around. But take a, and you'll see now the reason for the transparent colors in there is now you can take that 1-inch brush and you'll be able to let's see, you're going to come to like here, get it about halfway down, straight up, straight up, straight up, and when you start getting into this curve, continue straight up. That little guy kicks under just a little bit, so don't go over here and do it. Come here, not full brush, and just straight up, and continue doing that and till you get all of these little boogers, you know, like I said, because now see, now the reason for that green and that blue that we put in is what's given us our northern lights. So, you know, a spectacle very few people get to see. I thought I saw it one time. Turns out it was just a bunch of trailer truck tires that caught on fire. But there for a minute, you know, I had like the magic glow. Like, oh my God, I've done it, I've seen it up close. And then I got close and I was like, oh my God, it smells like Cousin Rudy's basement. What's going on? All right, so now we've done that. This looks good, but this is not your, you know, and remember, you're working up. So this is going to have a mountain in it. So we're not concerned about contaminating this. Now I'll move to a 2-inch brush, clean, dry brush, And so it's pretty globby right here. So I want to, over here, you're going to come up, light pressure, and just, all of a sudden, this stuff just starts glowing. And try not to add stars in your Northern Light paintings, because there's not really, I've seen a lot of the Northern Aurora Borealis paintings, and there's not a whole lot of stars in that. So now you have this. Do not do this, because you want these little fingers to go up, and that's what we've created here. Now we're going to go clean our brushes so we don't set them off to the side and forget, because they're expensive. And I'm telling you now, you let oil set up in a brush, you might as well throw it away. But we have going to go back to our palette knife, and we're going to make our own dark paint this time. Like, we're going to take the leftover blue that we had and throw in some black, or not black, but a Van Dyke brown, and just kind of make our own. I don't know if you've ever been to like a Bass Pro Shops or a Cabela's, and you go in there and they have 10,000 lures. Those lures are designed to catch the angler, not the fish. Like people have been catching fish off of worms, and Jesus walked by Peter. You can't tell me they had the latest greatest Bass Pro Shops lure, and Jesus walked by and he's like, "Hey, y'all, follow me. We're gonna go to the synagogue and do some like a Sunday night gospel. Just go in there and just sing." I don't know if Jesus actually sung, though. I don't ever recall reading much about that. See how that's kind of brown? I want to get that a little darker. So I'm going to add a little more blue. I picture if Jesus did sing, though, like it would probably be kind of like CCR, like Creedence Clearwater Revival, something cool like that. It wouldn't be no junk. People be like, "Man, you really can sing." He'd be like, "Yep, I know." And all right, so now this is going to be dark. This is going to be dark for a minute. And like I said, because this down here, we want to have a scene down here. So don't go crazy with it. And we're allowed to make this mountain bigger. Bring down your paint to where it's kind of smooth, and then chop you out a little piece. Come in here and start defining that mountain. Take it off to the edge, and then come in here, bring it down flat, chop off the other side. Bring it down. It's going to be a mountain ridge. It's not just one single giant hill sticking up. And so, but working on these black canvases is a lot of fun. You can make, like I said, you can buy the white canvases and then just a jar of black gesso. It's called gesso, Jesso. And this stuff dries so fast that you can make these black canvases in no time. Save yourself a lot of money. So now we've gotten over here, and we want to get more mountains, but we're going to start picking up color. But that's okay, because we're going to add highlights to this. You know, these mountains can look really however you want. Just don't flat, you know, and then come up. Try to take the angle of that blade there and just be as random as you can. Like here, you know, these lights, and what this is showing is that these lights are dying off. Like there's more earth behind the mountain there. So there's more earth back there. Take these, try to scrape off as much of the paint that you just put on with the knife as you can, because that can come back to haunt you later. You just have too much paint on there and it starts gumming up. The paint that we define those lines, you know, don't get up in here into this mess. Now I will show you another brush that'll make this even smoother, but I mean, it's you got to be prepared when you use that one, because it's a pain in the butt to clean. And once you do clean it, it's kind of done for the day. Like it has to dry out. But try to scrape off most of this paint, because we're going to define our mountains with our 1-inch brush. So who do we want to stick out? Peak 1, peak 2, peak 3. So I'm thinking this guy here. See how that already defines like that way, and then you come here and bring it on, you know, like this, and let it die off into that. So that one is defined. Come in here, keep with your line that you done with your knife. Come in here, and now he, you know, maybe he's like maybe want to do something in here to break up a lot of that. So this is helping you define what it is you're looking for in your mountain. I want it to be a little bit more on that side. This way. So let's see. And we'll have a ridge coming in here. And then this comes off this way. Now, that little fella, the one that gets no love. Now all of a sudden, you know, people realize, uh-oh, we do need Rudolph. We can't see in this light. You know, like, so now it's Rudolph's time to shine. You know, but I don't know what he gets all that credit for. I mean, just because he's got an abnormality. You know, I mean, who ever heard of a deer with a red nose? Like, where I'm from, you got a red nose means you got some kind of conjunctivitis and you need to be quarantined. Now comes the fun part. We have that blue paint that we just mixed up. You know, it's like a bluish brown, which mixed together pretty heavy creates a black. We want to go back to our blue paint. We don't want to go dipping into this. We want to come over here and get some of the white paint and mix it with the blue, like a phthalo blue, just a little bit. I mean, because that phthalo blue is strong. So get it and mix it in there to where it's pretty white. You know, like this is snow. There's not a moonlight. There's no moon in this image. So like I said, we're keeping up with our angles here. You know, that's pretty bright compared to the background and everything. So we want the lighter snow, and again, I'm light pressuring. This is light pressure. Come in here, and you want it to break up. You want that to break up, and just be random all in here. Come over here, hit this guy. You know, he goes off into here, comes into here, and let it pick up the colors that you put down, the greens and that stuff. Let all of that stuff come in. Because it creates an amazing effect as far as, like, you do something like that right there, all you got to do is turn that knife around, and then boom, you've created a whole nother ridge. You've created a whole nother area. And if you don't like it, then you just redo it. If you don't like it, come in here with this guy and go over him. That pushes him back. Come in here. So now all of a sudden you have, you know, because this snow, you can't tell me that this does not have an effect on this. And come in here. And that, like I said, you don't want it to look uniform. You want this thing to just, I mean, there's certain like certain physics, I guess you would call them, that you have to abide by. But for the most part, if I want this mountain to come in here, I mean, this thing looks like a gigantic iceberg. I mean, it looks, you know, and there would be some crazy skateboarder dude that'd be like, oh, dude, it'd be tubular to go skiing down that. And I will say, well, I'll hold your phone. You go do it. I'm going to wait down at the cabin. Because, you know, I'm not about, I went to a ski range one time, and the first question the guy asked, have you ever broken your leg? You know, proudly. I'm like, yeah, I broke the crap out of it. And he's like, then I don't recommend you getting on. And I said, well, you know, I didn't want to argue with the guy. And all right, so over here, it does get a little bit darker. It does get, like, more light is over here. So over here, we're going to mix in some blue and just let it break. Let it do whatever it wants to do. Come in here. I mean, because this almost looks like glaciers. Let those lights, let those northern lights die in behind your mountain, because, you know, that shows that there is stuff going on back there. my cat Pete is over there trying to hack up a hairball, which means I have to stay conscious enough to remember where he's done that. Can you hear it? God almighty. Boy, that's what, you know, come on, man. I'm trying to do a video here. You done? Golly bum. You know, that's why I don't have kids. You know what I mean? If all I got to deal with is a little hairball, okay, I believe I can deal with that. But, all right, so I'm taking my white, and I'm going to come in here and do this. And I'm going to show you why. Because we have to break this up. We have to break this up from... Alright, so now you've got, like I said, very little is left to do with this as far as that. I have this one brush here, and you're not going to find it at Hobby Lobby. It's a very, very soft bristled brush. And I could come in here, might as well do it. Come in here, I don't know if you can see the lines, but some of the Northern Lights they have these little fingers. Other ones are just like globs of glowing green. So we come in here and do this. It takes out a lot of the brush strokes. It takes out a lot of the stuff we don't want. Now with this particular brush here, we are allowed to do other things, like, because it's so soft that it's just melting. It'll just melt those colors together. Alright, so now when stuff like this happens, don't worry about it. There are no mistakes, just design changes. So get off what you can. Leave these little bitty fingers that are coming down. You don't want to erase all of that. Remember, like, nothing, I know this might sound dumb, but like nothing in nature is like natural. I mean, you're going to have dead trees. I mean, like in nature, this particular scene here, you know, might have a gigantic dead tree laying across the mountains there. I mean, but you know, we don't want to paint that in. But in real life, you know, that could be what it is. Now you see what I've got here is I cleaned a lot of that mess out. So now I can come in here and whoop them little fingers back up. You know, like it never even happened. And so like I said, you get here, bring those up on this side here, because that's swirling around. Come in here, come in here. So now we get to this point here, and this is what I mean about cleaning this brush. Is it's so soft that it takes it a long time to dry, and that's one of the reasons why people get scared of oil-based painting, is because of the cleanup. You know, you don't really have to have a well-ventilated, you know, you don't have to go out in your garage and do it. You don't have to be you know, in some kind of special. Look at this. I have made a mess. I mean, but odorless paint thinner. You know, don't really stink. Try to get as much of it squished out. But now I don't recommend doing this if you're like in a hotel or something, you know, doing that on the easel leg, it does sling stuff everywhere. But so now we come in here and we just start tapping this. What we're going to do is create a mist. We want to create a mist at the bottom of the mountain. Get some of that mountain color in it, make it random, bring it up into it. I'm hitting this thing with pretty good pressure. You know, get some of the fog up in the valleys. All right, and now, like I said, get it. Don't do this. Just, you know, take your time, and you'll get the feel for it. So now we have that going on. Don't worry about cleaning that brush just yet. Go back to your fan brush and your dark color and get a lot of paint on there. And what you're going to do is you're going to come down here and you're going to just like give the indication of distant trees. Not too big, because these trees, they're itty bitty compared to the size of a mountain. Go back to your black, and don't worry about cleaning the brush. That black just eats that white right up. So come in here, and all you're doing is creating a background forest. Just a really like an illusion to kill the base of the mountain. Because who actually says, you know, this is where the mountain ends. So all I'm doing is stabbing, keeping that at kind of random. Don't get them too far apart, because then it'll start looking, it'll just make the forest look too big. And you know, you want the mountains to be. So come in here, stab, like I said, and now you have created this fog line. So now you have the mist at the bottom of the trees. And then, now here's another little trick. Clean that brush. Go to your white and thin it down just a little bit. Thin that white down just a little bit, and then you can come in here and do this number here. That's almost going to give the effect of like a snowy forest bottom. So you have that, and now come, this is where it starts getting a little bit more kind of more like you are kind of at a make or break situation to where you have all of this now to have to do something with. So come in here with that dirty brush that you have and grab some of that straight down. To where it's half, you've got half of it coming down, half of it has stayed up there. Now come in here and it's instant reflection, you know, but bring it on further down. This mountain here, bring this further on down. If you got to get just dab at it. Don't put a whole lot of paint on here. And you want this to be a little bit lighter in the water, because if it's too light, you can always darken it. If it's too dark, then you have to add so much paint to make it light again that now you've created just like a mess. All right, so get this stuff here pulled down. I'm talking just pressure, mashing in, pulling down. I'm working it into the grain of the canvas. Almost like I'm mad at it, but I ain't. You know, I'm not mad at it. And again, this way here, you need these little reflections. You need these broken up spots, because you're still going to do work down here. So like I said, this is the basic to get you started on this here, and I'm going to continue working with this painting and then show you the end result, because Facebook won't let me add but such a long video. So like I said, but you could do purple, you could do green, whatever color in this up here, and it's going to look great. So give that a shot and we'll check back tomorrow.